Okay, good morning. Welcome to
FamilyMath244.
FamilyMath244. So we're returning to Clifford Pickover's math book today.
Yep.
Actually, how do you think you say that word?
The math.
Weird. So we like this book a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
We used to have you guys do daily assignments out of it where you would read a section and write up a little report on it.
Yep.
But in our movie yesterday about the Fibonacci spiral, you were asking me about tesseracts. And he's got a section in this book on tesseracts. And it has this chart right here about a point, a line segment, a square, a cube, a hypercube, and a hypercube.
That's probably the fifth dimension.
Whoa. And it says how many corners, edges, faces, solids, and hypervolumes there are. What do you think a hypervolume is?
I don't know.
It might be like the area in the fourth dimension.
Maybe.
Yeah, or maybe the volume in the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
What I wanted to start off with today is just having you guys. I had you guys look at this chart. I had you read the section ahead of time.
Yep.
Do you notice any patterns in this chart?
Well, if you look at these diagonals, you're adding by none every time. You're adding by two every time. And you're adding by, well,
The next one you're adding by 8, then 12, then it would be 16.
12.
Then 16. So you add by 8 to go from 4 to 12. 12 to go from 12 to 24. 16 to go to 40. So what do you think the next number down here would be?
It should be 64.
64? Interesting. Okay, that would be how many hypervolumes, how many fourth dimensional volumes there were.
Maybe it could be 20.
Ooh.
Well, because you start adding by 8, then you increase the number you're adding by 4 every time.
Okay, so you add by 8, then you add by 12. Then you add by
16. So then you should add by 20.
Ah, okay.
So
you get 30, maybe?
no, you get you
You
would
get
get
60.
40 plus 20
Oh.
would be 60.
Not
Okay.
that adding.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we'll wonder about that. Do you see any other patterns?
Well, the next one, it's kind of the same thing. You add by 24, then you add by 48.
Oh, yeah,
I think I see another
That's great. So you've seen some patterns in the diagonals.
I think.
Do you see any other
I
patterns?
see patterns maybe in these columns.
Okay, what do you
I
see
see
in the
the
columns?
powers of 2.
You see powers of 2 in the first column? Okay.
And then
I couldn't make anything out in this column. Well, this is you add by 1, you add by 3, then you add by 8, you add by 20, then you're gonna add by 48. But that doesn't seem like anything.
Okay, so we can't quite figure out what the next number in this column here would be. This column, we think this in the sixth dimension, we think it would have 64 corners.
Wouldn't there be a hypercube?
I guess. Be a long project if we did a 100-dimensional thing, right?
Yeah.
Just saying the name of the project. Okay, but we're not quite sure how many edges it has. And unfortunately, the diagonal patterns, we only get 1.
Yeah.
So even here, we aren't quite sure. But hopefully by the end of this project, we'll be able to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alright.
All right, so let's go to our zone tool set, all right?
Yeah.